Hey there, lovely people. I am in Big Red, our Case IH75C, and we are headed over to the neighbors, and we're going to get on his driveway. I've got the box blade attached on the back, and it's time to help him out. He has been needing this done for a while. I've done it once in the past, and basically he's got a driveway. It's probably half a mile long, I'm guessing, maybe not quite a half, but the gravel, just like every gravel driveway, it starts, getting that big area in the center where it's growing grass, and you start digging in the trenches on each side there. And we're going to clean it up. The rock's starting to go off in his grass a little bit. He was real happy the last time I did it for him, and he's all about getting it done again. So we're heading that way right now, just leaving the lovely place. We got to get out on the road, just some country roads, drive around, and then when we arrive, we will take a look back there and see what's happening. But yeah, it'll be a fun little experience. When you have a tractor, there are always ways to help a friend, help a neighbor. I get to do what he's been asking me to do for a while. Part of our driveway here is a bunch of woods, and we're about to get to the edge of these woods here and break out into the field. We've got plenty of driveway work we need to be doing for ourselves, but I really need a ton more gravel. Well, instead of a ton, several tons of more gravel. So what we've done to this driveway so far is a lot of big, I think 2 to 3 inch base. Now up through here, we did smaller gravel. It's on out here in the field where we did the bigger stuff, right past this little area that you see in front of us here. We got some smaller back through here, but nothing too small. But I've got to kill off all this grass at some point. I did not lay any kind of landscape barrier down, so weed barrier, I mean. So, the grass is growing up through the rock, but at least when it does rain a lot, I'm still on solid ground because of that base that I did. So it'll be just a matter of getting some good smaller gravel up here, maybe even crush and run, and getting this one nice one day. But I figure, there's no sense in making an amazing driveway here until we live here, because when we do the construction, there's going to be a whole bunch of travel back and forth, which will cause problems to it. So I think we're good for the moment, keeping it like this. But he, on the other hand, he lives there, and he's got to keep his nice, so we're going to help him out. In case you guys have not been around this channel, those of you who have been around, you already know this. I am no expert with tractors, with any attachment. When we bought the land about 4 years ago, bought the tractor right with it because I knew somebody had to cut that field, and who better than me, right? I didn't want to pay it to be done, so I thought I'd invest in some equipment. And then I think the first attachment I got may have been this box blade. Of course, got a bunch of different things now, but the way you learn is you just try it. You just do stuff. And I got to play with this box blade a lot with dirt. I took a bunch of dirt up there around my barn that we're going to turn into a tiny home, and I spread it out and made it nice and put grass seed out. And then now in the spring and summer, we got some really nice grass right up there around the barn. And I pulled a lot of that topsoil that when this driveway was being built with a bulldozer, I put all that topsoil in a trailer and took it up there and pulled it out, dumped it, and spread it with this box blade. That's where I got a lot of my knowledge or practice with it. But I feel like every time I use it, because I use it kind of few and far between, I feel like it's a learning curve all over again. But it's a little bit like riding a bicycle. You do it once, and a couple minutes after you get started, the next time, even if it's months or a year later, you'll get right back in the saddle, and you'll be good to go. So we'll see if that works here. We're going to take the low range up into third, and we'll put the high range in first, and this will give us some, we're on the road now, it'll definitely give us some speed. Let's get these hazard lights on. All right, we'll go ahead and take her down in a second. I tell you, this thing will move in second gear. So yeah, this got up to 10 miles an hour in third on the low range and second on the high. And so that's plenty on these curvy and hilly roads back here in the country. we get on some flatter ground, we might pop it up a little bit higher and go a little faster, but I'm in no rush. I want to show you something over here. They got some really green fields happening here. They normally plant wheat in this field. I'm assuming, let's see, what is that? That just might be cover crops right now. I don't know what they got in the ground there, but that sure is pretty, isn't it? We're gonna put her up in third. It's 3 and 3 right now, 3 on low, 3 on high. And I don't have the throttle up too far, but we're at 15 miles an hour, almost 16 like that. Pretty quick. It'll skedaddle on the road here. $17. All right, so we made it to his driveway. I'm gonna drop this box blade. I'm at the very front of the driveway. We're gonna head on up, and on our way, we're just gonna pull a little gravel with us here. Let's go down here to the edge of the road and grab it. Let's drop this blade down a little bit. So what I try to do here is just find a line of sight on the front of the tractor that I can kind of keep it in a certain spot so I can start creating a line. This just takes several passes back and forth, just dragging this gravel and kind of getting yourself a good even line everywhere and scraping up the center of the driveway here and getting those edges nice and clean. It'll take a few times, but we'll get there. Put it up here in second gear. And you can see right here where a lot of that gravel has really went outside of the line. What we'll do is we'll get sideways in a minute. We'll pull all that gravel back up here in the driveway. Try to clean that up. Got a lot of it that's kind of going out. What I don't want to do is just expand the width of the driveway more and more. You know, I want to pull it in. Any of you folks who have done a lot of this, man, feel free to chime in and give us any tips and pointers. I sure can use them, and I'm sure anybody watching the video, that's something that we're all interested in, so fire away. Of course, the main thing we want to do is get this driveway less bumpy, and we will absolutely take care of that. So basically, without being taught and doing this myself, what I have determined has worked in the past is just digging deep. You know, I don't have my claws down. I don't have those big talons down or whatever those things are called. What I've got is just the blade, the flat blade. And I'm just grinding it nice and deep and pulling that gravel, getting me a level driveway. And of course, at some point you got to raise it and drop all this gravel, and then you got to level that out. So you want to find the low spots, if you have any, and do it like that there. Right now, all we're doing is some back and forth motion, and then we will fine tune it. Now once we drag it low, and we get it kind of leveled out here, we'll raise that blade up, and then we'll start trying to just kind of merge it all in together and blend it nice. nice and flat. We got a big old bumpy area right up here. It's right by the road, and the reason it's a little difficult is because you start going nose down on the hill here, which means I've got to adjust my box blade to compensate for that, and it takes a little skill, and I don't have a whole bunch. I got a little maybe, but not much more than that. Here we go. Let's see what we do here. We're coming down. On this run, we're gonna kind of go out up the middle, and then when we get up to the top, we'll get on one side or the other and see about blending some of that stuff that's dropping off there on the sides of the box blade. You know, the only thing that gives me a little confidence doing it this time is that I have done it once before. That time, it's on video, but I just didn't know what to expect. I just knew I had a basic understanding of what to do here and did my best, and he liked it a lot. So to be honest with you, I think I may have done a little bit better to begin with on my first go round than I have on this one so far, but we'll get her cleaned up. There's just not much to it, but at the same time, you know, I'm sure there's guys out there that can do this blindfolded and actually do a really, really good job, and they have some techniques that I'm probably not using, but live and learn, practice. Cool thing about the box blade is it will only hold so much gravel, and when it fills up, which it's full now, it just spills out, and when it spills out, it sort of fills in the low spots. So, I mean, it's kind of and it's a flat blade all the way across. So, I'm not going to say it's hard to mess up, but it doesn't take a genius to do this. You just need the equipment. And for someone who doesn't have the equipment, and you do, that's a good relationship there. It's a win-win, you know. Now this time I'm going to drop it maybe a little less low, and I'll start trying to spread this gravel out. And I'm gonna stay on the left side going down. Don't feel like I'm quite low enough, but we're gonna keep going here. I see that I'm getting some on that far side. Raise that up right there, and I want to come back this way. I'm gonna try to pull some of that gravel that's down there on the outskirts of this back up here on the driveway. So let's see if we can do that. That's as far as it'll go down. Alright, well, we did a little bit of pulling up. I can't get all that because of the angle that I'm at, but let's get back here where we were when we got off the driveway, and let's continue pulling it. So let's back on up. That right here should do it. Let's head on. If you didn't have a cab tractor, this would be a little bit more unpleasant, no doubt about it. I mean, in here, you've got air conditioner if you need it. It is like early part of March, so it's not really hot, but that sun beating in this window actually gets a little warm, so I'll turn that air conditioner on for a minute and let it cool things down, and then I'll pop it back down off, just so that I'm not burning up in here. But that helps a whole lot, and of course you don't get the dust. You're not breathing all that in. So you gotta love a cab. If any of you are thinking about getting a tractor or a box blade or doing this for the first time, I say just, you know, if you're getting a tractor and you need to fix your driveway, box blades are really affordable. I mean, you can buy used ones. I bought this one used. It's a 8-footer. And because this is a 6-foot wide tractor, you know, I wanted to go beyond my wheelbase in size. And definitely do that if you're getting a box blade. Just make sure you get one that's a little wider than your tire tracks. But yeah, I think I might have overpaid just a little, but I didn't do too bad. But even new box blades are reasonable. But definitely, if you can find a good used one, the way to go. Not much can go wrong on a box blade, you know. There's not really any breaking points. When I say breaking points, like moving parts necessarily. Of course, you want to get a tough one, a heavy duty one, because I mean, look what it's doing. It's a load. But yeah, I say just go for it. Hook it up and start dragging stuff, see what happens. The good thing about it, if you have a box blade, you can pretty much fix your mistakes. So it's not like too many bad things can happen. I mean, I say that and then somebody crosses a water line and digs it out of the ground with one. Don't do that. When you put those tines down, that's when you can cause some issues. So I would definitely figure out how to go about doing that before I put those tines down on somebody's driveway. I don't know. That would really pull up. If you're really trying to get up old gravel and stir it up, that would do the trick. What I don't want to ever do on my driveway is put those tines down and pull up that 2 to 3 inch rock that I've got down there as a base. So I've got to be cautious about that. And you never know if someone's driveway has that. You don't want to start pulling big old 3 inches fist-sized rocks up on top of this small stuff. They would not be very happy with that. Here's what this does do. It beats the daylights out of sitting at a desk behind a computer screen for these number of hours. So if you can get away with doing this, I say make it happen. Because it's kind of enjoyable, it's relaxing. Well, this has been several passes, so I need to get it tidied up. I need to try to make sure I fill in any low spots now and try to get these edges as clean as I can. That's what we're working on. You know, I don't do this as a business or anything like that, but a person could certainly, if he got good at it, and if he could get enough local business, especially if he doesn't have a trailer and a big old truck to haul something like this, you could make a few dollars doing this. And so it's definitely an option. A lot of people these days are buying track loaders, skid steers, a high flow style, and they're getting a mulching head and putting it on the front of it and trying to get a whole lot of business to do that. It's kind of becoming competitive. I've seen, at least here in my area, Central Tennessee, I see tons of marketing on that. Of course, when you start, you know, looking at one ad, you're going to get 1,000 ads that are identical, because you start getting targeted for that kind of stuff. But yeah, I see them all the time, and I've heard through people I know of friends who are investing in those things and doing it. So it makes you wonder how much of that work there is to go around, you know. And it makes you also question whether or not that'll drive prices down. Typically, when you end up having a lot of competitors, somebody's going to start undercutting someone else, and at some point, if you play that game, it becomes, and that's with any industry, it becomes kind of not worth the job, the effort, and all of the expenses. But if you focus on quality and you provide that no matter what you're doing, you could probably command a higher price point than some of your competitors will. But we're getting there on this. I think we just got 2 or 3 more runs and we'll get it all knocked out. All right, we're making one last run down the middle, and then I'm going to do one on each side, and we're going to call this good. He already drove up and down it a couple times and said it's night and day from what it was before, because there was some pretty bad humps. He called it the railroad track down here toward the road, and it got pretty bad, but we got that cleared up right away. A box blade will do wonders for a driveway. I tell you, if you've got a long driveway, you have to have one of these, or have somebody that can come out and take care of it for you, because it makes a world of difference. Instead of that vibrating, banging, dreadful drive to the road, you've got a smooth, nice drive. And from what I understand, it's probably good to do this a couple times a year just to keep it where it needs to be and keep everything in shape. All right, lovely people, I just stepped out of the tractor and it's looking pretty smooth. And the important thing is the smoothness in that direction and this direction. Going across, well, nobody's gonna be driving across, so if you have a little bit of a hump here, believe me, I've been down it many times, and I'm just afraid I'll make it worse. And you can make things worse if you just push it and push it. So I'm gonna leave that little hump. Now, when you get down, going down a driveway, and you're going down the hill like toward the road here, this is where you get into problems, because your box blade stays level with the tractor, and if you're going downhill, then that tractor is dumping rock in piles down through here. So I got down here and I just started kind of spreading it out. I need to break my new boots in, get them dusty anyways. I think he'll be pleased with this. Let's hope so and cross our fingers. We definitely want to do a good job for him. But all in all, it's a lot more flat and a lot more drivable. This is the Kodiak 8-footer, like I said, and it is a beast. Got that big old blade on it. And you team that up with the big red here, and you got yourself a winner. God bless you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.